ये किस तरह लगा?
हेलो सर।
हेलो।
धीर साहब। जय
जय
भीम।
भीम जय भीम। नमो
सर
बुद्धाय।
कैसे है सर?
ठीक है बढ़िया ठीक है।
सर्दी चले गए?
नहीं नहीं अभी है।
अभी भी है सर?
अभी है अभी है।
नितिन जी, जय भीम।
जय भीम सर।
सर जय भीम।
जय भीम सर।
एम आई ऑडिबल?
Yes, sir.
You are audible, Nitin.
No, I was worried about the internet, how
Okay.
strong it is. I don't know. First time I'm using at home.
अच्छा। हम्म।
और कैसे हो?
मैं ठीक है, थोड़ा ब्रेक हो रहा है बीच बीच में। हूँ।
हाँ, ब्रेक हो रहा है नहीं?
हम्म। I don't know about others, but for me, this. हम लोग तो अभी भी जैकेट पहने दिल्ली में, आप लोग तो पंखा चला रहे हो।
हाँ।
सर विनोद जी,
यस सर, गुड इवनिंग।
आप आर्ट फिल्म हीरो लाइक जैसे दिख रहे। आर्ट फिल्म हीरो लाइक जैसे दिख रहे हैं लाइट।
अरे वो मैंने लाइट अपने फेस पे डाल रखा है, अदरवाइज रूम लाइटिंग स्ट्रक्चर इज सच दैट इट विल बी डार्क ऑन माय फेस, सो
अच्छा,
इसलिए।
सत्यजीत रे फिल्म हीरो लाइक जैसे दिख रहे।
ओह नो। हाउ आर यू
सुखदेव
सर?
जी, सुखदेव जी। विनोद जी,
Yes, sir.
2 मिनट में स्टार्ट करेंगे. श्रीनिवास इज कमिंग.
Sure, sure. Yes,
श्रीनिवास इज जॉइनिंग.
yes, yes, yes.
मैं చెప్పు రవి. सुखदेव विश्व प्रेम जी.
हाँ जी सर, गुड इवनिंग, जय भीम।
जय भीम सर. ठंडा अभी है.
हाँ, ठंड तो है। आज तो थोड़ा सा बारिश का मूड भी बन रहा है, कुछ
हम्म,
लाइटनिंग हो रही है।
हम्म.
आपका कैसा है, हेल्थ ठीक है ना? थोड़ा दिवरिश
ओके ओके.
ठीक है ना?
बारिश है मगर.
ओके ओके, हाँ थोड़ा सा टाइम तो लगता है थोड़ा।
पूरे विनय कुमार भी जी है हमारा सर.
अच्छा,
नमस्कार जय भीम।
जय भीम सर, जय भीम सर, गुड इवनिंग,
श्रीदेवी
जय।
गारू
सुखदेव जी
गुम्बड़ी.
कैसे है? घर
ठीक
गए,
है,
घर
ठीक है।
घर घर पहुंच गया?
हाँ, आज पहुंचे जी, आज पहुंचे।
पहाड़ पहाड़ पहुंच गए?
पहाड़ पहुंच
श्रीदेवी
गए,
गारू
मैदान से,
वेलकम अंడి.
सागर से
मैदान से
पहाड़ पहुंच
पहाड़
गए।
पहुंच गए।
हाँ, 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 सागर
वेरी
से
गुड,
पहाड़ पहुंच गए।
एक्सलेंट।
चलो sir,
శ్రీదేవి గారు వెల్కమ్ అండి.
గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ థ్యాంక్స్ అండి
అన్నా టైం పడుతుందా?
ఒక 2-3 నిమిషాలు.
ఓ,
బత్తుల
పర్లేదు.
శ్రీనివాస్ జైన్ కావాలి.
బత్తుల సీన్
ఇవాళ మోడరేట్ టుడే మోడరేటర్ ఇస్ బత్తుల శ్రీనివాస్
మోడరేటర్ శ్రీనివాస్
ఫ్రమ్ జేఎన్యు.
ఫ్రమ్ జేఎన్యూ. ఓకే. బ్రాహ్మణులాగా స్నానం చేసుకొచ్చినామండి ఈ మీటింగ్ చక్కగా బాగా.
श्रीमती निर्मला सीतारमन जी द्वारा प्रस्तुत किया गया बजट करोड़ों करोड़ों देशवासियों के लिए विकास का बजट है, गरीब के कल्याण का बजट है।
ओके, श्रीनिवास आ गए. विनोद जी,
Yes, sir.
can we start?
Yes. So, good evening, friends. Jai Bhim. As you are aware that every Saturday we organize this lecture on the occasion of 75 year of Indian Constitution, and we are calling this as a Samvidan Samaalochan series lectures. Today is the 9th lecture, and the title of today's lecture is Article 38 of Indian Constitution and Wealth Inequality in India. Today we have with us as a speaker Professor.
You are not audible.
विनोद जी आपका म्यूट हो गया.
Sorry. Good evening, all of you. I'm sorry, I was speaking last 2-3 minutes without knowing that I'm muted. Good evening and Jai Bhim to all of you. Today is 9th lecture of our Samvidan Samalochana series, which we started on in November 2024, and we are celebrating 75 lectures on the occasion of 75 years of Indian Constitution. Today is the 9th lecture, and today's topic is Article 38 of Indian Constitution and wealth inequality in India. Speakers of today's lecture is Professor Nitin Tagade, who is Professor of Economics, University of Hyderabad. Before joining, Professor Tagade was in as faculty in University of Pune, and before that he was working in Institute of Dalit Studies. Professor Tagade has been constantly working on the issues of caste discrimination, wealth inequality, and other social intergroup inequality in different dimensions of economic spheres. So today's lecture is going to be moderated by Professor B. Srinivasu. He is professor in Center for Study of Regional Development, GNU New Delhi. He has more than 25 years of experience of teaching and research. His specialized areas are MSME sector, rural development, microfinance, financial inclusion, agriculture, economics, and informal sector. Prior to joining GNU, he was in Jamia Millia Islamia. So we welcome both the speaker and the moderator. Over to you, Professor Srinivasu.
Yeah. Good evening, one and all. First of all, I'm extremely sorry for joining bit late. Anyway, I'm happy to hear that the Center for Dalit Studies have been organizing a series of lectures with regard to different aspects and select issues. I would like to congratulate first of all Sri Malapal Lakshmi Garu for this great initiative. Today's lecture by Dr. Nitin Tagade, who speak about Article 38. In fact, if you try to understand Article 38, whatever we try to see, as per Article 38, state to secure, a social order for the promotion of welfare of the people. That means the social inclusive development is a basis for all these things. The government of India at present try to think or try to provide a platform for social inclusive development and so on. But to realize all these things, what are the aspects that need to be addressed, need to look at? In my view, if you try to understand the caste-based discrimination is very much high. If you see the data as per National Crime Record Bureau, 50,900 cases are there. The crime rate is very high in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, and you try to see economic inequalities. The gap between rich and poor is very high, number one. Number two is that according to World Inequality Report, 2022, India is most unequal countries. Though we have been 75 years of journey, there is still most unequal aspects we need to address. Top 10% of the population holding 57% of national income, top 1% of the population holding 22% of national income. That means richest of 1% own more than 40% of wealth. Bottom 50% of population hold just 3%. These are the economic inequalities. When you try to see, in the case of Dalits, 58.4% do not own land as per agriculture census. And also the healthcare access and education access, all these things are very, very important to be addressed. I hope that Dr. Nitin Tagade try to address all these things in the light of Article 38. And also, the government of India, a buzzword is there, Viksit Bharat. Under Viksit Bharat, socially inclusive development, how it would be a pathway for Viksit Bharat, whatever they are thinking or trying to say that by 2047, the Indian economy would become developed economy. Can it possible with the given inequality, economic inequalities, caste-based discrimination, gender inequalities, all these things? I hope Dr. Nitin would like to, I hope that Nitin might address all these things in the light of Article 38. Thank you so much for the initiative. The floor is of Dr. Nitin Tagade. Thank you, Dr. Nitin. I welcome you, and floor is of yours. Thank you.
So, good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Vinodji, I want to share my PPT. Is it possible that I can get a access
Yes,
to
yes,
share?
I am allowing. Please do that.
Yeah. So thank you very much for inviting me to speak on this important topic on wealth inequality in the context of Article 38. Although I am not expert in the Constitution, but since Mr. Palli Lakshmaya has asked me to speak with respect to that also. So I will try to address that issue also.
Hello. Nitin ji.
Hello, I'm sharing.
Okay.
I'm sharing.
Please do, sir. Please do.
Am I audible? And
Sir, you are audible, sir. Please go
okay.
on.
So
Please. It's good.
today's topic is on Article 38 and wealth inequality in Indian context. So the presentation has introduction where I will be speaking about the Article 38, and also I will talk about some objectives of this particular presentation. I will also talk about the data and methodology. And then I will come to the analysis part where I will be speaking on the wealth distribution at the aggregate level. Also, I will talk at the rural and urban areas. Later on, I will speak on the wealth distribution across social and religious groups. And finally, I will make some conclusion and policy suggestions. So to begin with the introduction, everybody knows that we are celebrating 75th anniversary of Indian Constitution, which was introduced in 1950s. It is Indian Constitution is particularly a revolutionary kind of constitution for various reasons, and everybody has their own views with respect to the Indian Constitution from different perspective. But here, since we are talking about the wealth inequality, I will be talking about these two revolutionary steps which our Constitution takes. One is that it abolishes the untouchability and bans any kind of discrimination. And second, it also lays down the foundation for the social justice and equitable distribution of the resources. These are the two important aspects which are very important and a kind of revolutionary steps, we can say, our constitution has. Among these various articles which are there in the Constitution, one of the article is Article 17, and which talks about the abolishment of the practices of untouchability in all its forms. And it states that untouchability is abolished and its practices are also forbidden, whether even in a smaller form. However, there are studies and documentaries that clearly indicates that untouchability is still practiced in various parts of the country. For example, based on the Indian Human Development Survey, which is a household survey and conducted in 2011-12, Amit Thorat and Omkar Joshi has estimated that about 27% of the households in India practice untouchability, and that this data is particularly related for the 2011-12. So in 2011-12, 27% of the households in India have been practicing untouchability. And these households not only belongs to the Brahmin community, but also other communities. Only difference is that Brahmin community are practicing more and other communities are practicing less. But that doesn't matter. Practice is practice. Because Indian Constitution bans untouchability. The social justice and redistribution of resources are also the major aspects of the Indian Constitution that are aimed to achieve through various provisions. For example, we have fundamental rights in Part 3 and directive principles of state policy in Part 4. And these provisions aim to ensure equality before the law and prohibit discrimination based on caste, religion, sex, and place of birth. In specific, these provisions strive for a social order where everyone has access to adequate means of livelihood and opportunities for development. So, there are various articles that ensure equality and equity to be maintained in the country across the gender, across the social group, across the place of birth, across the religious group, and so on. So there is no space for discrimination. What are those articles? Article 14 guarantees equality before the law and equal protection of law to all citizens. Article 15 prohibits discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, and place of birth in accessing public places, education, and employment. Further, Article 16 ensures equality of opportunity in public employment. So there are two kinds of inequalities exist. One is inequality in outcome, that is also prohibited. So also the inequality in the opportunity, that is also the another kind of inequality also prohibited. So next is Article 38 that directs the state to strive for the social order where social, economic and political justice is achieved. Article 39 includes provisions like ensuring adequate means of livelihood, preventing concentration of wealth, and providing opportunities for children to develop in a healthy manner. So these are different articles, but since this particular presentation is with respect to Article 38, I will little more elaboration I will give. Article 38 states that the state should promote the welfare of its people. It is a part of directive principles of state policy. The state should protect and secure a social order that includes justice, whether it may be social justice, economic justice, or political justice. The state should also ensure that all the institutions of national life are informed by these principles. The state should also minimize income inequalities. Also, the state should eliminate inequalities in status, where we talk about the social status, facilities, and opportunities. The state should also engage in social transformation. So we need to transform our society from various issues that are of national importance. So, with this introduction, there are some questions that I feel that are important to understand wealth inequality. Since our constitutions talks about the reduction in the inequality, whether it is a income inequality or wealth inequality. So the first, there are four major questions I have listed out. One is the wealth inequality, wealth in India distributed equally across social groups? Second, has the disparity among social groups declined over the period of time? Third, which social groups have higher wealth ownership? And how much more wealth do they possess? And fourth is what policies are needed to bridge the gap in wealth ownership across social groups in India? In this context, the objectives are based on the data which we have from 1992 to 2018. First objective is to examine the trends in the absolute asset ownership in India since 1992. Second is to understand the trends and patterns in relative wealth ownership. When I say relative wealth ownership, I'm talking about how much wealth is owned by different social groups. So that since we have social and religious group from 2003, I will take the data from that onward. Third is to understand the wealth inequality across social and religious groups. And fourth is to analyze the impact of wealth on income and also income on wealth. So how much wealth will increase the income or how much income will increase the wealth? So from both the perspective, I will try to understand what kind of impact is there, and that impact, whether that vary from one group to another group or not. So data comes from the All India Debt and Investment Survey, which is conducted every 10 years. So we have the data from 1992 to 2018, 1992, 2003, 2013, and 2018. These surveys provide information on various assets owned by rural and urban households. So this data with respect to the asset is about the household ownership. Here there is no corporate data is included. So solely it is a household data. The data is available for land asset, building asset, livestock, transportation, farm equipments, non-farm equipments, equity, deposits, and gold. Apart from these asset information, we have demographic information such as what is the age, what is the sex, or what is the social group, or religious group. Economic and educational information is available, like level of education, type of occupation, whether land ownership is there, what is the consumption expenditure of each household. And using this information, I tried to compute averages, percentage distribution. So I will go further. First, I will talk about the trends in the asset value in 2003 to 2018. So this asset, the value of the asset is given. So I can estimate the total wealth, how much it is, and how much per household wealth is owned by each household. So that can be computed. So the first graph you can see here is the total asset in India, and it is in billion rupees. So for example, on the right hand side, you can see there is a total is written. And this is the total asset in India for different years from 1992 to 2018. And that has increased from 67,000 to 4,79,000. So there is a steady growth in the wealth in India. But the more increase you will find between 2003 to 2013 as compared to 1992 to 2003 and 2013 to 2018. Also, you can see that till 2013, the wealth is more in rural areas, urban areas, but in 2018, wealth is more in the rural area. But there is an increase in both rural and urban areas. Now, our average value of asset in India for 1992, 2003, 13, and 18. This all data is comparable at the constant prices of 2017-18. So, at the aggregate level in India, there is a decline in the average value of assets during 2013 to 18. And this decline is much more pronounced in urban area as compared to the rural area. So wealth has increased in India, but if we compare in terms of per household average value of assets, we see that there is an increase during 1992 to 2013, but thereafter there is a decline. And that decline is much more pronounced in urban areas. So, but why there is a decline in the wealth? One reason could be that this is the average asset holding in India, and you can see that there is a slight kink is there in the trend line, which is for the period of from 2003 to 2018. And from 2003 to 2013, there is an increase, steady increase in the average asset value of the households. But there is a slight change in the direction or trend line. It means that the average per capita asset value has increased, but at a lower rate as compared to the previous years between 2013 to 2018. And what could be the reason? One reason, possible reason, and this is estimated from the data itself, that shows that the higher end households are more incorporated in 2013, but lower proportion of higher end households are surveyed in 2018. That would be the one of reason. One reason is that. So higher end households means the rich households are more incorporated or surveyed in 2013 as compared to 18. So therefore, that could be the one reason that average value of assets has declined between 2013 to 2018. This is the higher end households, which are more clearly visible in 2013's survey. Now, what changes we can see in the wealth distribution across different fractiles, and particularly at the higher end household fractile. Fractile means fractions. So fractions which can be divided into 10 to 10 or 20 to 20 or 1 to 1. So from higher top 10% are divided into each one fractile group. And if you see the first bar on the left hand side, it indicates the households below 90% of the fractile, or lowest 90%. And here you can see that there is a increase in the asset ownership among the households who are fall under the 0 to 90 group. The second remaining part is 90 to 100 quantile group or fractile group. That is the top 10%. And there is not much change you will find in the share of ownership of this particular group, which is not actually very conventional, because we always say that the higher end group income of or wealth of the higher end groups increases fast. But here the data show that there is not much change among the top 10%. Now come to the 90 to 94 percentage top households. There also there is not much change. Slight decline is observed, but we cannot say that it is substantial. But after this, you can see here there is a consistent decline in the wealth ownership, particularly during 2013 to 2018 at the highest top 1%. Top 1% is the extreme right side bar. 3 bars are there. So there is a decline in the wealth ownership among the top 10% and particularly among the top 1%. There is a decline particularly during the period of 2013 to 2018. What happens in rural India? In rural India also there is a shift at the upper level. Average landholding, average asset holding has increased between 2013 to 2018, and that can be visible here from the graph. But and reason could be that in rural area, higher end households are more incorporated in the 2018 survey as compared to the 2013, which we have seen a really little reverse as compared to the all India data. So rural area is showing different picture. So here also similarly distribution of rural wealth at higher end or top 10%. So lowest 90% is showing that there is an increase in the asset ownership, and there is a decline in the asset ownership among the top 10%, which we have seen that there is no change at the all India level, but there is a decline in the top 10% households. There is a decline in the asset ownership. So where it has among the top 10%. So between 90 to 94% is there is not much change, slight decline is observed, but thereafter from 94 to 99%, there is a consistent decline. Almost everywhere, for example, 99 to 99%, 0.9%, there is a 15 decline in the wealth ownership from 15% to 10%. But among the top 1%, there is a consistent increase you can see. So in rural areas, top 1% households have shown the increase in the ownership of wealth. In urban area, there is a decline in the asset ownership among the households between 2013 to 2018. And this is clearly visible from this graph, where there is a tilt in the graph in 2013. This particular graph shows that in urban area, the higher end households are more incorporated in 2013 survey, whereas less are incorporated in 2018. So distribution of urban wealth at higher end households. So first is the lowest 90%, where there is a increase in the asset ownership, but there is a decline in the top 10%. Also between 90 to 94% group, there is a marginal decline. And thereafter, there is a consistent decline is observed, and much higher decline is observed among the top 1%. So what is the takeout from these three patterns is that there is a change in the distribution of the wealth between the different quintile groups, particularly among the top 1%, there is a decline, and that decline is observed because of the decline in the urban areas. While in the rural area, there is a slight increase is observed among the top 1%. So we can say that from this data, that inequality has declined in our country. And this decline is much more pronounced in urban area. And this is particularly visible from this table, where last column is the Gini coefficient. And that show that how much unequal is our society. Take the total, and in 2003, the Gini coefficient is 69%, means our there is a highly unequal our society is in terms of wealth ownership. In 2013, that inequality has increased to 72%, but later on it has declined to 68%. So there is a decline, and this decline is much more pronounced in urban areas, because in 2003 and 2013, our society was much more unequal as compared to rural area. But now there is a substantial decline in 2018. Now, As I said earlier in the beginning of this presentation, there are different kinds of asset information is available. So the major assets in the survey are the land and the building. And these two constitute almost 90% in the total asset ownership of the households. This is for the data for the 2018, and in rural area, land asset is more, and in urban area, building asset is more. So if we take any kind of policy suggestion, these two assets will have more importance than any other assets. So, here this table indicates that inequality in land and building asset in India in 2018. And here again, the last row that indicates the Gini coefficient for land and building. And you can see that land inequality has declined. So also there is a decline in the inequality in building ownership. But this is because of the low ownership among the in urban area. Actually it is low. Gini coefficient is low in terms of land because the share of land ownership in urban area is less as compared to the rural area. The value of land in urban area is less as compared to the rural area. In building, Gini coefficient is higher in urban area as compared to the rural area, because the value of the building in urban area is much higher as compared to the rural area, and that is obvious. So now the last part which I spoke about is about the aggregate picture of the wealth distribution in India, and with respect to the rural and urban. Now I will come to the intergroup inequality. And when I say intergroup, I am talking about caste, where religion, Hindu and Muslim, and tribes, it is about the scheduled tribes. So based on this information, I formulated these different categories like ST, that is scheduled tribes, Hindu scheduled caste, Hindu OBCs, Hindu high caste. And these are the Hindu groups. And the remaining, those who are Muslim are Muslims. But the remaining are included in the rest. So I will talk about these 5 categories: ST, Hindu SC, Hindu OBC, Hindu high caste, and Muslims. So we can compare and see how scheduled tribes are different from Hindu high caste, or scheduled caste are different from the Hindu high caste in terms of the wealth ownership. Similarly for the OBCs also. So here is the average asset ownership across social and religious groups in India, and that is in terms of the rupees in lakh for 2003 and 2018. And here you can see that the average asset ownership has increased 6.2 times between 2003 to 2018 in India. But the lowest increase has happened, highest increase has happened in the case of scheduled caste. that is 7.4 times asset increase during 2003 to 2018. The lowest increase occurred in the case of Hindu OBCs, that is 6.3 times. And in the case of Hindu high caste and scheduled tribes, it is 6.5 times. So highest increase in the wealth ownership during 2003 to 18 has occurred in the case of scheduled caste, and lowest occurred in the case of Hindu OBCs. And in the case of Muslims, there is a 7 times increase in the wealth ownership during the same period. Now, this is the distribution of the wealth across socio-religious group during different periods of time. Hello. So, we can see that there is a increase in the ownership distribution of wealth among the scheduled castes, which has increased from 8.9% to 9.8%. Then scheduled tribes increased from 3.9% to about 5%. Hindu OBCs, there is an increase about 32% to 33.5%. But there is a also increase in the ownership of wealth among the Muslims from 8% to 10%. But there is a decline in the ownership of Hindu high caste from 2013 to 2018 by almost 5%, 6%, from 41% to 35%. So there is a increase in the wealth ownership among scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and Hindu OBCs, and there is a decline in the wealth ownership among the Hindu high caste. This is about the rural and urban. In rural area, the wealth ownership is higher among STs, SCs, Hindu OBCs as compared to the urban area. But in the case of Hindu high caste, wealth ownership is substantially high among the urban population as compared to rural. But in any way, if you compare scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, and Hindu OBCs compared to Hindu high caste, their ownership of wealth is low. This is the distribution of the household during the different period of time. And there is a increase in the household share during 2003 to 2018 among the scheduled tribes, among the Muslims. And there is a consistent decline among the household share of Hindu high caste over the year, but little decline and slight increase is observed among the scheduled caste and Hindu OBCs. Now, this household share is important because the wealth ownership distribution doesn't tell clear picture until unless we compare with the household share. So here I'm trying to understand that how much asset share is with the particular group as compared to their household share. So this data is for 2018. And for example, if you take the first category, that is scheduled tribes, where blue color is indicating the bar with the blue color is indicating the share of households, and the saffron color is indicating the share of the assets owned by the scheduled tribes or across the social groups. So first group is the scheduled tribes, where it shows that 9.8% of the households belonging to the scheduled tribes own 4.9% of the total asset of India. It means that almost half the asset of are owned by the STs as compared to their household share. Similar is the case where scheduled caste are the share of the scheduled caste household is 18.6%, but they own 9.8%. Here also almost half the ownership of wealth is with scheduled caste as compared to their household share. It means that they're supposed to own the 18.6% of the total asset, but they are owning close to 10%. But there is among the Hindu OBCs, you will see that the difference is less, but still Hindu OBCs also own less assets as compared to their household share. In the case of Hindu high caste, the case is reverse. Hindu high caste have the household share 20.7 and they own about 35% of the asset. It means that they own more than their household share. Same is the case for Muslims, where they own slightly more, they own slightly less assets as compared to their household share. This can be clearly shown by picturizing this information in terms of the ratio. So what is the ratio of share, household share to the asset share? So here is the picture. This is for 2003 to 2018. And here there is a horizontal red line that indicates that those who are close to this have the equal proportion of it as compared to their household share. Means they are owning exactly equal amount of share of asset as they supposed to own. If somebody is less than this horizontal line, then we can say that there is a low asset ownership among that particular group as compared to their household share. And if that household is or that group is above this line, then we can say that high asset ownership is there as compared to their household share. So here the STs and SCs are well below the horizontal line, indicating that their household share is household asset is much less than their household share. But if you see the Hindu OBCs and Muslims, they are close to the horizontal line. But if you see the Hindu high caste, they are well above the horizontal line, indicating that their household share is much less than what they possess, the wealth. Same is for rural and urban area. And in both the areas, Hindu high caste own more than their household share. Now I will come to the determinants of the asset and income. And since I'm from the economics, we tend to build some model. And here I have two models of the regression analysis, where I have taken dependent variable as log of assets to show the asset ownership and log of MPC to show the consumption expenditure, which we generally take as a proxy for the income. And this analysis is constant by age, where we have taken only 14 years of more than 14 years population, and particularly they should be the household head of the family. And there are different independent variables: income, assets, sector, sex, education and household type like self-employed or casual labor or regular salary, and whether they have the access to land or not. So this is the model. The first model is about the asset value, and by changing the units of the independent variable, we try to see how much change happens in the asset value. So here we are looking at the impact of different variables on the assets. In the second model, that is log of MPCE, and here I will try to understand what impacts more the income of the households. So the first row, that is log MPC in red color, that indicates that there is a 0.88 value is given. It means that if there is a change in the MPC by 1 unit, the asset value will increase, or asset will increase by 0.88 points. It means that there is a strong and significant impact of the MPC or income on the asset value. So any increase in the income will increase the asset of the households significantly. On the other side, there is a value is given 0.112, and that is also significant. But this value, it indicates that if any change, 1 unit change in assets will lead to the 0.11 unit change in the MPC or income. But it means that the asset is more stuck of the reason that the more stronger impact of income on asset value is because that this is short-run impact. Income increases in the short run, but increase in the asset is a long-term thing, and therefore generating income out of the increase in the asset takes lot of time, and therefore this weak impact you can see on the income. Now there is also difference in terms of the rural area, where if the person is living in rural area, the asset will be more by 0.3, whereas if the person or household is living in rural area, his income will be less. So where the household is living, that will have a different impact on asset and income. Similar is the case for male, household size, and age. But I am more concerned about the social groups and religious group, where we can see that whether it is a income or asset, if they belong to the scheduled tribes, scheduled castes, Hindu OBCs, or Muslims, their asset will be less as compared to Hindu high caste. So, for example, in the case of scheduled caste, there is a value is given 0.326 and the sign is negative. It means that the scheduled caste will have the 0.326 less asset as compared to Hindu high caste. But this difference is slightly less in the case of MPC, but that is also significant. And this is clearly indicating that there is a hierarchical impact or hierarchical difference. The more difference is pronounced between the scheduled tribes and Hindu high caste, and lesser, relatively less among the scheduled caste and Hindu high caste, again less among the Hindu OBCs as compared to the Hindu high caste, and that is existing. There are other variables that also have the impact. For example, education, and I have taken low education and medium education as compared to high education. As compared to high education, those who have the low education and medium education, they have less asset as well as low MPC. or income. Similarly, the self-employed will have more asset as compared to the regular salary, but less income as compared to the regular salary. Casual laborers asset also less and income is also less as compared to regular salary. If asset the household has access to land, then it will have a more asset, but income will be less. So this entire two models are have good amount of explanation, or it explains about 50% or more than 50% of the total variation in the dependent variable. Now, if we take this information to build or understand the impact of assets on the income and income on the asset for different groups, then we will understand how much difference is there. So I tried to show this predictive margin of scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, Hindu OBCs and high caste. So here, this is the graph that show that how the income will change on as the asset is increasing. So increasing this, there are two lines. One is for Hindu high caste and another is for scheduled tribes. This blue color is for scheduled tribes. And it is upward sloping, means that there is a increase in the income because of the increase in the assets. But this increase in the income because of the increase in the asset is much more for Hindu high caste as compared to scheduled tribes. Because the line which indicates scheduled tribes is low, is placed below the red color line, which is for Hindu high caste. Second graph is for scheduled caste, and here also the line that indicates the changes in the income due to the changes in the asset is
Sorry, Nitin, sorry to interrupt you. Actually, most of the audio participants, they are not from economics background. So it's like little getting difficult for them to understand the lot of list statistics.
okay.
So you can simplify and
Okay.
just the overall finding, that will be better.
Okay.
Thank
So,
you.
okay, I will try. I don't know whether I will be able to do that, but I will try it. So basically, I am saying that thus.
Nitin, can I give you an idea? See, see, in the light of this article, how the inequalities have been addressed, number one. Number two, whatever the issues that are there in the country, how these things are being treated. See, regression and all, since the participants are not from economics background and all these values, it may not be useful for them, but your interpretations would be more useful for them. That's my request. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Let's carry on, sir. Let's carry on. Okay.
So
Nitin, please continue.
Yeah, please continue.
So, okay. So here also there is a, as the income increases, wealth will increase, but wealth increase will be higher among the Hindu high caste as compared to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes and Hindu OBCs. So there is a clear-cut differences in the impact of the income on the wealth and impact of the wealth on the income that differs between different groups, and the impact is much more significant and high in the case of Hindu high caste. Now come to the conclusion. So there are two major takeaways as per my understanding. First is that in aggregate, the value of the households household asset ownership declined, particularly during 2013 to 2018. And there are different reasons of it. So I have listed of 4 reasons. Reason one is that data show that the higher end households have been less covered in the 2018 survey, particularly lower than the 2013 survey. So higher end survey, this is the problem with the data. So we cannot do that. But what about the economy? Whether that can explain something? So there is a reason number 2 is there. There is a decline in the government expenditure in key sectors during 2014-15 to 2019-20. For example, share of social sector spending declined from 22% to 20%. Second, share of expenditure on education to total government expenditure declined from the 20% to 18%. And this is the data for 2014 to 2019 or 2015 to 2020. So this collaborate with our data. Third is that share of expenditure on food and subsidy and civil supplies also declined from 32% to 22%. And last is that capital expenditure as a share of GDP is constant during 2014-15 to 2019-22, 1990 to 2020 to 3%. So there is definitely there is a decline in the government expenditure, particularly with the areas where there is a concern for the poor people is there and among the marginalized sections, because these are the sections that requires food subsidy, educational subsidy, social sector subsidy, and so many things. Third reason is, I guess, that it is because of the demonetization and implementation of the GST also have the impact, because during this period, the pace of economic growth has declined substantially. For example, this could be the 4th reason, that GDP growth declined from 8.3% in 2016 to 6.5% in 2018. So there is a clear-cut decline between 2016 to 2018. The second reason is the second finding is that indicates that there is an improvement in the asset ownership among SC, STs, and Hindu OBCs, also among the Muslims. Only there is a decline among the ownership among the Hindu high caste. Now, for example, share of assets among scheduled castes increased from 8.9% to 9.8% during 2003 to 2018, while declined among the Hindu high caste from 38% to 35%. But it is a good thing that there is a improvement in the ownership of scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and Hindu high caste. But the concern is that there is the gap in the wealth ownership across social group is still persist. Scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, Muslims only own half the asset as compared to their household share. For example, SCs own 9.8% assets as compared to their 18.9% household share. However, Hindu high caste own 1.7 times higher assets as compared to their household share. They own about 35% assets as compared to their 21% household share. Thus, the household Hindu high caste own 3.5 times more asset as compared to the scheduled caste. So, a big difference we find. So, what could be the policy suggestion that can be suggested? So, we all know that reservation policy is very important and it is implemented. And whatever changes we see among the scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, are because of this policy. But there is a need to enlarge the coverage, particularly to the private sector. And then that will help in a bigger way. Second, could be the businesses among the SCs needs to be strengthened. And there are various policies at the central level, state level, but still it needs to be strengthened. For example, there is a need, there is a procurement policy is there, which says that the government expenditure should be 4% at least on the goods and services produced by the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. So that has to be increased to 20% at least. Since we have two important assets, land and building, and therefore we need to have some policies which will be related with these two assets. One is that we need to have the distribution policy of the Gairan land and fallow land, because these are available freely around the villages, and these are although these are the common lands, and these are captured by the upper caste. So this land can be given to those who are there from the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes households. Another policy could be that there could be 1 to 2% rebate should be. If, for example, in Maharashtra, we have Swabhiman scheme to distribute or purchase the land for the scheduled caste. But since 2006, there is no case where government has purchased land for the scheduled caste under that scheme. And there may be other schemes in other states also. So if this can be implemented, it will be good to improve the wealth ownership for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. With this, I stop here. Thank you very much. If any questions are there, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Nitin Tagade. Can we have questions now, or can I sum up something with regard to the presentation?
Sir, can I?
May I know,
Hello.
please introduce yourself and
Professor,
ask the question, please.
Yeah, sir. Myself, Professor Rajesh Sonone from Mumbai University. I'm in which affiliated college to Mumbai University, near to Mumbai region.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Somewhere I found the data, which is very wondering. I mean, it is shocking. The household share of the higher caste, it is less, but the asset share is higher. I found it. I think it is very shocking and wondering. I think it may be that the higher value share is having by the higher caste. Is it right, sir? Higher value share.
Yeah.
A higher value asset.
If
I am wrong, please continue, please.
Shall I say something?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Just I was saying that Hindu high caste having the low share of households as compared to their ownership. So basically, they own more wealth as compared to their asset, their household share. So there is a more ownership of wealth is there. Therefore, there is a inequality. The case of inequality comes from there, that some people own more than they're supposed to own.
Yeah.
So what is your question actually?
No, he has got.
Rajeshji.
Yeah, and can I continue, sir? Hello.
Yes.
Sir, my question is that the higher caste people having their highest value share. That is my understanding. Is it right or not? I mean, it's
Is
supposed to
right.
be say, yeah, it's supposed to. Household sharing is less because of the population, the demographic ratio may be less. That's why there is a household sharing may be less. But the my understanding, if I am not wrong, the asset share, that means the asset of that value, the value of the asset is higher than the other asset which are having by the other people. If is it right, sir?
I'll clarify, Rajesh Sonawari. See,
Yeah,
there is a difference methodology as per NSSO data with regard to asset and wealth. What Dr. Nitin is trying to explain that wealth inequalities are prevalent than the asset. Okay.
than the asset.
Got,
Yeah,
got it. Got it.
yeah, yeah,
So
yes.
asset is overall, whereas wealth is overall, whereas asset is an individual thing like land and other things, right? Rajesh Sonawani?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that is the clarity. Okay, next. Please be brief for the question, whoever is asking.
Sir, I am Raghavendra. I work with an organization called Action Aid in Bangalore. Good to learn from this one presentation. My question is asset to household share. Can we get a comparative analysis for the last from 2003 to 13 and to 18? Because one big chunk, yeah, it explains something, but comparative will be much more useful.
Sir, can you explain your question? Comparative between what?
I understood that there is an increase in the house asset of higher caste people community. Is it? I mean, are you comparing from 2003 to 2018 and telling that 92 to 18? You're telling that, or I mean, I could not understand that. What is?
Sir, there are four data sources: 2003, 2013, 2018, and 1992. So over the year we can compare one thing, and also there is information for scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, and OBCs and high caste. So we can compare for that also. So one way is that comparing across the social group and comparing over the years. So if we compare across the social groups, then we find that scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, OBCs, and Muslims have less ownership. While if we compare over the year, we find that there is an improvement in the ownership of scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and Hindu OBCs. So there are two kinds of findings are there. So over the year, there is improvement, but across the social group, there is a lot of inequality exists over the year. So that inequality is carrying over the years.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, is there anyone?
Hello, I am RK.
Yeah, please, sir.
Hello,
Please, sir.
I am RK Kalsotra from J&K.
Yeah.
I congratulate you, all the team. Very useful information with data we got. And our submission, these type of awareness program should continue. Slowly, if someone is not understanding, but understand.
Sir, please, if you have any question, please.
My question is for trained people. Like Nitin is
I request others to mute their audio, please. I'm requesting others to mute audio so that everyone can listen.
My
Organizers, please see Mansharam is something. Please mute him. Whoever, Mansharam ji, please mute your audio.
Okay, sir.
Mansharam ji, please mute your audio, please.
Okay, sir. Okay.
We still have not that done. Yeah. Yeah. See, one thing I've been thinking, Dr. Nitin,
Sir,
when we were discussing with regard to wealth and asset creation, asset holdings, as per 2018, wealth is more in rural area, where there I have some reservation what to discuss and explain. That's one thing. Secondly, apart from the land and asset, what I can think that access to education, health, employment opportunities of Dalits would give more clear picture with regard to inequalities. See, if you see, if we try to take as per NSSO data asset holdings, it might be giving overall picture with regard to inequalities. Maybe the shift of livelihoods might be one of the reasons. Dalits, in the case of SC/STs, shift of livelihood. And also the landless labor population has been increasing, and the migration is particularly rural to urban, and this share might have increased, but what is the comparison? Like, for example, when Dalit start, SC/ST start getting educated in engineering institutes, upper caste people try to go to foreign countries for their education. When Dalits are trying to go to foreign countries, upper caste people are starting industries. So there is always a gap between scheduled caste and upper caste people with regard to, livelihood opportunities and also economic empowerment. For that reason, maybe whatever we are trying to discuss with regard to asset holding and wealth, but if you try to understand, you only showed in the beginning of your slide as per Article 39. Article 39 says adequate means of living conditions, adequate means of livelihood opportunities, number one. Fair wages. Very recently, CSD, Center for Social Development, clearly says that there is a wage differences between scheduled castes and other castes. And the equitable wealth distribution, equal pay, livelihood, and also wealth distribution as per Article 39. These are things we need to maybe the adequate means of livelihood is one of the things need to be provided or ensured by the state. Second is health is distributed equitably. Wealth is distributed equitably. So when we try to see all these things, somewhere we need to understand further, like, we have to broaden our data sources, and also not only we need not to stick to only asset and other things, maybe, education, health, livelihood opportunities, all these things maybe we can bring into picture in the light of Article 39. That's what I've been thinking. And also with regard to policy suggestions, maybe affirmative action, legal protection, right? See, that is very important when we try to see the inequalities. See, if you in my opening sentence, I have used the caste-based discrimination has been prevalent in so many states. So if you have legal protection, the social exclusion and the caste-based discrimination can be addressed. And also with regard to social security, majority of the SC/ST population are shifting to informal sector, where in informal sector, the social security is the biggest question or biggest challenge. So all these things, if we can bring into picture, and if we can relate to Article 38 and 39, that would be more useful for the people. You have done excellent job with regard to your data and the regression model which you have given. Fantastic. But what I would like to suggest you, these things can be more useful for for our audience, and also for our future research may be useful. These are my comments. We can do further. Yeah. If there is any questions, you always can ask.
I think, can I ask one question, please? Hello,
Yeah, sir. Yes, sir.
this is Tangaraj from Chennai,
Yes,
a
sir.
partner from it. It's a nice presentation.
Exactly.
I enjoyed it. But one important question is, what is the role of government policy intervention in shaping the asset and building for the depressed classes, namely scheduled caste, scheduled tribe? This is my question. In other words, an impact of government intervention for the development scheduled caste, scheduled tribe.
Professor Nitin, would you like to respond?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As per my information, there are certain policies are there. For example, I mentioned about the land distribution scheme. For example, in Maharashtra, there is a Swabhiman Gaikwad's land distribution scheme is there, where the government pays money or to the scheduled caste beneficiary if somebody is willing to sell to that particular group person. But that kind of policies, although exist, but it doesn't have much impact. Because we know that in the land market, there is a lot of discrimination is exists. People don't want to sell to the scheduled caste person because of various reasons. Second, and therefore, it is very difficult to get the land from the upper caste. So what government, second thing is that government pays the value of the land to the scheduled caste at the not at the market level, market prices, but at the government prices, and that is very low as compared to the market price. And therefore, I suggested to have some kind of rebate mechanism through the credit market, and therefore it can help directly to purchase from the any source at any rate. So that kind of, but I don't have full grasp of that, so I can't say much about this. Second thing about your comments, yeah, definitely there are we cannot cover everything in one go, but definitely that's why major force of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was on the reservation policy when we lost this double voting method. So through the employment we can get, and our model also we found that if income increases, asset increases much faster than increase the other way around. So data, there are some problem with the data. And as you said that there is a decline in the wealth in the urban area, because I'm still trying, but that one reason is important, that there is a more incorporation of higher end households in 2013, but less incorporation of higher end. So if higher end means those who are richest are not incorporated, so value of the total asset will go down. That is one of the reason. So that may be also one of the reason, but again, we'll discuss and continue this debate further. Thank you.
And
Thank
also to add, Tangarajji, there is a beautiful program in Andhra, Telangana called SST Subplan. Lakshmaya ji, also one of the valuable Lakshmaya ji and Kuruvi Vinay Kumar ji, all these people are pioneering with regard to SST Subplan, wherein they have been trying to provide land development programs and all those things. For your information, I'm trying to share with you. Yeah.
Sir, can we conclude?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is done from my side. And
Okay. Thank you very much, Nitin. Your presentation, I think it's a very
interesting presentation.
excellent and very research based. Thank you very much. I think it could be more useful in future. In our observation also in the villages, day by day, the decreasing the assets of Dalits and OBCs, basically some OBCs, increasing the in your terms in the household, higher caste households. That is the majorly we are seeing is openly, nothing hide in it. The second thing is, I think, what are the reasons? How will tackle this? I think in 38th article, Ambedkar told in that Constituent Assembly, the government should balance the wealth distribution. Basically, governance and governance distributions. That's why we are thinking to have a government budget should be utilized of the poor people. I think nowadays 10 years, from 10 years, there is nothing, any new scheme in the budget. Today also, I have seen the very, very disappointed. Nothing disappointed. It is continuous their ideology to implement in the budget also. I think we are demanding from the beginning the SC/ST supply in the union budget also. Then the rightly Ambedkar told on those days the government should practice economic democracy. I think first he used in the Constituent Assembly debates economic democracy. Economic democracy means government should implement the programs to strengthen the SC/ST assets and wealth and whatever resources. Okay, it's a very good. You can in future also. I think I hope Nitinji to more enlighten us. I think we will.
Nitinji, sir, Lakshmaya ji, Nitinji has used very good regression model. But for economics students, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe students, for this model would be very helpful.
Yes, it's a very good. I think Rajesh Sonwane, Raghavendra ji, I think we have to in future also. I am appealing to all to continue this discussion. It is a more important thing in future. Center for Dalit Studies and other friendly organizations. We are very thankful to you. You involved to discussion, and I think in another, but not only in this series, we can also regularly discuss the things. Economics also more important, but I suggest Nitinji, it should be some easily understand model of lecture. I think in future Nitin also will.
Yeah, actually, we also try to explain in easy manner, but
no.
our exposure.
Now it's okay. It's not a
No,
bad
our
thing.
exposure is less. As
In
much
future,
as we discuss with you people,
what is the need of our community? It should be easily understand to what is happening today. Then this series importance also. What are these safeguards in the constitution? What is the implementation? What will be the prospect? This is our understanding. I think in future also we can again in this context anybody can offer to give the lecture, it can be added in future also.
Nitinji,
Another thing is, I want to I request you all tomorrow 7 o'clock same time we have a next lecture, Buddhism influence on Indian Constitution. Ravi Bankar is the speaker on this. He's a consultant of social development and tourism, all those things. He offered. He wants to deliver that lecture. I hope you are all join with us in tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Nitinji, I am from Hyderabad Central University. I did my MPhil and PhD from once Department of Economics. Now it is school.
Oh,
I have done my PhD in 2002, completed my PhD in 2002.
great, sir.
I am from Department of Economics.
Okay, okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
With
very
whom
much.
you
Thank you
worked,
to all.
sir?
Sorry?
With whom you worked?
I worked under Professor Manohar Rao, who is
Oh, okay, okay,
who
okay.
is retired. I have done my MPhil and both
Then
PhD.
I will share your numbers all together. I think
Okay.
please another request is to all whoever they joined newly, please share your mobile numbers if it is possible.
But Lakshmayaji, I should congratulate you, but this is wonderful program and no, this is wonderful idea actually. The 75 years of this thing is a great idea, but we all should appreciate. Though we are
No. This idea we firstly we thought November 26th to January 26th.
Yeah.
But in this in between, Dr. Rajshekhar Undru suggests us it should be go on 1 year.
Yeah,
That's why we are continue to November 26th of 2025. If it is necessary, we continue to 26 January. This is also understand.
But one more suggestion I've been thinking. See, we have been discussing whatever the issues within the room. If we can document these things and
Yes, Srinivas, I am asking all the speakers to give their presentation. It will be published.
Dissemination of the
No,
information.
this is YouTube will be available, sir. This lecture.
Masses को inform करना है and that information need to reach masses. Then only it will be more.
That's why we are going to publish all those lectures in all languages.
Oh, that's great. That's a great idea, sir.
Right, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, tomorrow 7 o'clock we will again meet.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Dr. Nitin, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
To see you.
Thank you,
Let's
Nitin.
keep in touch. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lakshman
Thank
sir.
you, Nitin,
Thank
sir.
you.
Okay.
Thank
okay,
you.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for
Okay.
us.
Kalasotra ji, thank you very much. How are you?
Fine. And beautiful program. I heard this.
Please join every Saturday, Sunday, 7 o'clock. Every Saturday, Sunday, 7 o'clock.
Moreover, my summation that you issue the recorded video. So
Yes, already it will be in YouTube, sir. YouTube में रहेगा.
yeah.
मैं और एक बार आप लोगों की भेज देता हूँ.
Morning, yesterday, whatever you have sent me, I shared with the people. Everybody is very much interested and they are responding. Very good document you prepared.
Kalasotra from Jammu. I think they are doing very good job. How to coordinate the things. Sukhdev ji.
Thank you.
सुखदेव जी कलासोत्रा जी है.
हाँ,
आपका
कलासोत्रा
नंबर
जम्मू से है ना? जम्मू से ठीक है. तो इनका नंबर ले लेते हैं.
मेरा पास है, मैं भेज दूँ.
I am looking All India Confederation of SC/ST OBC chapter from 97.
Oh, great, sir. Great.
Many
Great, sir.
Okay, good.
from Jammu Kashmir Assembly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you to all.
good.
Thank you to all.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you for a nice initiative, sir. Thank you.